Good morning. Good morning. How are you? How you feeling? Good morning. How are you? How you feeling? What's going on? Let's talk about what's going on. What's going on? Only one thing going on is that green card holders, okay? Let's talk about green card holders and their rights. What are the rights of the green card holders? Because it looks so confusing now with all those arrests going on. Seems like nobody knows those rights anymore. Yeah, I'm trying to pull something up. Hi, good afternoon. Actually, here it's morning. Good morning. How are you? So let's talk about the green card holders, okay? What's going on? Hi, Osen. If you have a question, Osen, just put it in the comment, okay? I'm just trying to see, like, what's going on with immigration at this point. Always something going on. Mm. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find. Oh, sorry. Trying to find this. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Let me share my screen. From New York. Hello. How are you? How you feeling? Hi, Jay. How are you? How you feeling? Good morning. Huten Care. How you feeling? So I want to talk about what's going on. Okay. And then I'm going to talk about green card holders and their rights. Uh, Yeah, that's what's going on. You need to stop doing it. Are you posting things? Yeah, they just arrested somebody for going to the going to the this lady actually went to like a march protest, and then now she's in detention for that. So you need to be stopping posting that, because the First Amendment, it's pretty vague as far as green card holders are concerned, as far as their first speech, First Amendment, free speech rights. Yeah. So from Connecticut. How are you from Connecticut? I've never been to Connecticut before. I don't know how. Yeah, I've never been there before. How are you? From Maryland, yeah. Maryland in the house. Yeah, I love Maryland because really our state is great. To be honest with you, we don't have those type of drama going on. At least not like in other states. Jeez. Um. Anyway, so let me talk about what's going on. Okay. The first, let me share my screen. Okay. This is the what? I wanted to talk about it. Why is doing that? Anyway, let me go back. Okay. IRS nears deal with ICE to share addresses of suspected undocumented immigrants. Remember this Trump administration, from the beginning, they said that they are going to deport 11 million individuals, which is kind of hard. But anyway, that's what they said. And now what they're doing in order to know who's undocumented, they're going after people, after like, people work and they pay taxes. So now they're going after IRS to release the name and the addresses of undocumented immigrant. Looks like they got a deal. You see, they want me to pay to read it, but no, I'm not paying to read it. Let me see if I can find it somewhere else. Um, Let me stop here. Let me see if I can find it somewhere else. They want me to pay to read it now. Yeah, so let me get it from here. Let me share my screen and get it from here. Share screen. Okay, so this is the article, right, from another newspaper, whatever, The Guardian. Is saying here that IRS nears deal with ICE to share data of undocumented immigrants. Okay, immigration official could give names and addresses to IRS amidst concern over Trump administration abuse of power. So the U.S. Internal Revenue Service, IRS, is reportedly nearing a deal to allow immigration officials to use tax data to support Donald Trump's deportation agenda. So basically what they want to do is they're going to IRS to get IRS to release the names and the addresses of undocumented immigrants. That way they can just go to the house and deport undocumented immigrants. So under the proposed data sharing agreement, said to have been in negotiation for weeks now, Immigration and Customer Enforcement ICE could hang over the names and addresses of undocumented immigrants to IRS, raising concern about the abuse of power, okay, and the right to privacy. If access to this confidential data is agreed upon, it will mark a significant shift. That would be like the first time immigration officials have relied on tax system for enforcement. People are paying taxes because they're working, they're paying taxes, and this is a contribution to the country. Now they want to go after taxpayers just because people don't have actual document like work permit, valid work permit. So they want IRS to actually give the names and addresses to facilitate deportation. That's what's going on. There's an agreement going on. It's almost there. So you can read the article. Basically, that's what it says. Okay, that's the first news we have here. Then we have uh, yeah, this Trump memo is actually threatening lawyers as well and law firms that are suing. Trump is going after everybody: undocumented immigrant, documented immigrant, attorneys, judges, lawyers. Basically, this memo is saying that if you sue the government, then they're gonna scrutinize you, your law firm, and yourself as a lawyer to find out the basis for you to suing the government, especially those the lawyers involved in those asylum claims. This is crazy. It's crazy, you see. Trump memo treating law firms that cost his administration. Can you imagine? Yeah, and we're fighting, and people are fighting back. So for example, you know, this organization, they usually file a lot of lawsuits against any administration, not just the Trump administration. Legal advocacy group have issued a sharp rebuke to U.S. President Donald Trump directive aimed at holding accountable law firms and lawyers that, according to him, engage in frivolous, unreasonable, and vexatious litigation against the United States. Uh, yeah, so basically, suing the government, you're going to be scrutinized uh, you're going to be scrutinized, you're going to be under investigation, they're going to find out the basis of your claim. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Let's see the second news. Then we have the third news that we already know: 430,000 Cuban, Haitian, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. DHS revokes legal protections. What are you going to do? I mean, my opinion, if you have a valid claim for asylum, you should file it. Not to mention, what's going to happen is for people who have been here for less than 2 years under those categories of people, what's going to happen is they're just going to put them into expedited removal, which means that the officer is going to decide on their fate. Basically, that's what they want. Okay. Green card holders. Oh my God. I'm going to come back to this one later. Let me crack down on immigration. Now Trump is saying he didn't sign proclamation. Really? Some people were arrested during ICE check-in, then they disappeared. Wow. A lot of things. I'm gonna come back to this one. Let me take questions first. Okay. So let's take questions first. Okay. Then I'm gonna go back to talking about green card holders, because this is a major topic. Want to address that. See. What about VAWA cases? What about it? VAWA cases, what they said about VAWA cases is that it's going to be interview, okay? Especially for those who have VAWA and green card pending, they're just gonna go through the interview. That's what they said. That was actually under Biden, right? I think that memo came in 2024 in December. So that's what I know so far, okay? Okay, my green card application pending based on VAWA approved, but I have a removal order. For that, I request PD under Biden, and it was approved under this administration. Then I file motion to terminate. Okay. To terminate immigration request still pending for 3 months, but in the same time, attorney filed joint motion to BIA for termination. I don't know why. Well, if your case was last heard at the BIA, that's where you file your motion to terminate. If the PD request is approved, the PD request simply means that ICE agreed to join your motion. Basically, they give their signature, and then your lawyer is going to take that, file it with the court, because it's the judge who's going to terminate your removal, not ICE. Okay? The judge has to come with the order terminating removal. So basically, that's why your lawyer filed the motion with BIA, where the case was last heard. Okay? Got it? PD is just an agreement between you and ICE to join the motion together, and once ICE agrees, your lawyer take the filings to the court for the judge to terminate. Now you just have to wait for BIA to sign, okay? For the judge to sign. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but they're going to sign it. Most of the time when it's joint motion, they do sign it, okay? Once I get local police department to get them arrest undocumented people, it will be easy to deport millions. Yeah, could be, but it's still challenging in terms of, you know, the resources, right? So unless they're just taking everybody and deport them to Venezuela, which is not far, but if they have to deport people to their countries, that becomes a problem. It's gonna be a little bit challenging. Okay? I don't know why your lawyer filed with BIA, but if your case was last heard, basically when you, I don't know what was your case, but usually when people file for asylum, it gets denied, then they appeal to the BIA. So basically your case was last heard at the BIA level. That's why they have to file it with the BIA, okay? I have a deportable crime but was granted at 112H waiver and got a green card USS. USS can they deny my renewal of green card when a different USS have to review my case? But if it was waived before, I don't see, unless you have a new crime, I don't see that. To be honest, I don't see that because it was already waived. So the only time they're gonna refuse if you have new crimes, especially now, if you have theft crime, related crime, crime of violence that came after the Riley Act, the Riley, how do you call it? The Lakin-Riley Act was signed, then yes. But if you don't have new crimes, I don't think so. To be honest, I don't think so. Yes. So if your case was last heard at the BIA, that's where they send the motion. Okay. Can DHS try to over and try to deport? The deportation happened based on, do you have order of removal? If you don't have any order of removal, you don't have any deportable defenses. I mean, deportable crimes in terms of after the fact. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know how long it'll take. Just wait. Just wait. Nobody knows how long it'll take. Okay. Under Biden, those joint motion was taking like 8 to 9 months. This administration, they promised to do things faster. So yeah, just wait. Nobody knows. There's nobody you can ask who will give you the answer on that question. Okay, just wait. Oh my gosh, I see like something is in my eyes. Let me check my eyes. Hold on. Let me check my eyes. I feel like something got in my eyes. Sorry. I feel like, yeah, something got in my eyes. Okay. So yeah, just wait. Nobody really has the answer for that question, okay? But eventually it's going to get terminated. At least most motion gets, once it's joined. Yeah. Can I file for my children when I get my VAWA case? This question, it's gonna, but usually when you file for while you're waiting for the green card, Yeah, I'm gonna have to double check on this question, Amy Kai. Usually, when a person files for VAWA, um, if they list their children on the applications, when the VAWA is approved, they can, um, they can file for the children as well. But because your children are outside, they have to come here. I guess you should wait for the green card so you can petition as a green card holder. But can you petition? The question is, can I petition for them as a VAWA? Um, as a VAWA, um, how do you say it? Can I petition for them as a VAWA self-petitioner who has a VAWA approval? That I have to double check. I don't have the answer in my head because I never came across a case like that. Usually the people are already here with their children. And then we file for green card. Yeah, that could be almost like a I have to double check. I don't have an answer for that in my head. If I am in the US and scared to renew my green card. Moses the Great, why would you be scared to renew your green card? Because if you don't renew your green card, what type of document you're gonna be like working with or moving around with? The question you need to ask yourself is, why are you afraid to renew your green card? That's the real question. Right? Why are you afraid to renew your green card? Charge dismissed after. You got the charge dismissed, but the charge is dismissed, so you don't have a charge. So why would you be afraid? Because you no longer have the charge. It's dismissed. Because you can't stay without renewing your green card, then you'll be undocumented. What type of document would you have? You know what I mean? That's crazy. The charge was dismissed. If you have proof that the charge was dismissed, then I don't see a problem. Okay. How can I get back to you to get the answer? Let me just check here because there's no way to get back to me without a consultation. How are you going to get back to me? Let me just check and see if I never came across a case like that. That's why I don't know it in my head. Let's just check here and see if so it says that if the filer is approved, you can petition for your relative, the children, if they're under the age of 21, so that they can get their green card as well. So the answer is yes, if they're under the age of 21. But the question should be, did you put them on the application? If you never disclose them, that's a problem. Jess, I think I've already answered that question for you. But I'm just going to answer it again. But I think I've already answered that question before. The answer is, of course, it's always yes. But in order for the BIA to reopen a case after the like that's late, basically, in order for them to reopen a case that's late, you have to be able to show extraordinary circumstances. And a simple example could be somebody who is seriously sick, like somebody has cancer, for example. That's qualified as extraordinary circumstances for the BIA to reopen the case on their own when the case is late. Usually, you have to file a motion to reopen within 30 days. And then there's some exception for VAWA. It goes under to up to 1 year. And then there's another exception for change, like for asylum applicant, change country conditions, that at any time you can reopen. But other than that, when you're filing a motion to reopen with BIA, you have to be able to show extraordinary circumstances. That will put you on a chance to win. Otherwise, you're just wasting your money. If you don't have extraordinary circumstances, you're just wasting your money to file when it's late. What about N400? Oh, N400, that's where they're looking at all those N400s. If it's called aggravated felony, just know, even if it's waived, it's just going to be N400 is going to get denied. That's just law. So the question you have to ask yourself, was it called aggravated felony? If it was called aggravated felony, then it's just going to get denied. Because for the purpose of good moral and character, when a person has been charged with aggravated felony, they can never prove good moral and character for the purpose of naturalization, even if the crime in question was waived. So yeah, that's the question you ask yourself. Yeah, that's what it says on the website. So we're just gonna go with that. No, with USCIS, Dominicus Rogers, with USCIS, you don't file motion to reconsider. If they already sent you, when it comes to asylum, the way it works, once they refer you to, okay, let me put it simple. With USCIS, you just, when it comes to asylum, of course, right? You go to the interview. If they don't give you asylum, they refer your case to court. It's in court that's where you can make an argument to show that circumstances haven't been changed in my country. That's it. You can't go back to USCIS and tell them, can you reconsider? Because no, with USCIS, when it comes to asylum, that's not how it works. Whatever argument you have, that's what you're going to present in court, okay? Yeah, they don't have that. Yeah, yes, I did that. But anyway, so if you have a lawyer, you should always ask the advice of the lawyer and see what can be done in that specific case, because I never came across this type of thing. So my answer is just based on what I saw online, because I don't have specific experience with that type of case. Can I file for adjustment of status with US siblings while on TPS if you don't have prior unlawful presence? Then the answer will be yes, provided that your case is already current, because siblings, it's just too complicated. First of all, it takes forever for the priority dates to become current, for the visa to become available. So once the visa becomes available, then the question becomes, do I have any prior unlawful presence before TPS? Because TPS, when it's granted, you become lawfully present, but before that, if you have accumulated unlawful presence, then you cannot. Adjustment of status will not be possible. Dominican Roger, we already told you asylum, whatever thing you have as a defense, once they refer your case to court, you just have to defend it in court. You don't fall back. With asylum, there's no how do you say it? There's no possibility to do that. Asylum is just you go to the officer, you do the interview, they give you a decision. So, and if the decision is negative, the case gets referred to court. You don't go to them back to file a reconsider. No, you're gonna reconsider that in court. Okay. Moses, Moses, we already answered that question, isn't it? There's only one simple question: was it aggravated felony? If it was aggravated felony, regardless, for the purpose of naturalization, the answer is the application is going to get denied, because aggravated felony, even if waived, it can't change anything. And I think we've already answered that question for you before, right? But I guess you just want to answer. You just want to ask it again. You get me tired. For the question we already answered. Welcome. Oh, thanks. You're welcome. Please, by the way, we have 15 people in the house. Please like, please share. Okay, please like, please share. I want to share something about green card holder, because that was the purpose of this live session. I really wanted to talk about green card holder. Let me talk about green card holder first. Okay. Yeah. Meanwhile, please like, please share. Otherwise, I'm not coming back to answer those questions. Oh my God. My screen just froze. Can you imagine the screen? I'm trying to share. Oh, okay. I was like, what? Okay. I want to talk about green card holder. Yeah, there's an article about green card holder. Okay. What's really going on with green card holder? Let's start with what are the rights of green card holders if they travel. They have the right to return in America, provided that they did not abandon their residency. Okay? When a green card holder travels outside, they have the right to come back, because that's here is where they have permanent residency. But why it's getting a lot of it's raising a lot of concerns and fear, it's because sometimes when a person goes outside, they stay longer, for more than 6 months. If you stay more than 6 months without a reentry permit, then the assumption is you have abandoned your residency. And usually what's going to happen is when you come to the airport, they're going to place you in removal proceedings where you're going to defend yourself. And that's when you have to prove that you did not intend to abandon residency, blah, 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 or reapply again and stuff like that. But anyway, you're going to defend yourself in court. So, but what's really going on is that sometimes when a person comes, the officer has the right to question them. And usually questioning is because something is, they have reason to believe that there's some type of suspicions, and then they can question them. For example, if a person gets the residency based on asylum and they return to the country of where they claim persecution, of course, the officer is going to question you, and that's going to lead in removal, and probably your green card is going to be revoked because you lied if you claim persecution and you ended up going there, then it's like, where is the persecution in question? You know, that could be one of the reasons. Another reason could be because of deportable offenses. They look at the criminal record, then they see that you had some type of crimes, then of course they're going to place you in removal proceedings. And now with the new law, there's certain crimes where there's mandatory detention for it. So, and on top of it, there's something else going on, which is, you know, Trump said that they're going to be going after people who have different ideology. Okay. So, in terms of protecting the American people, so what they're charging people most not recently is this, right? If the Secretary of State has reason to believe that your presence or activities in the United States will have potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences for the US, that's how they're arresting people based on this. And that's why we see here, if you look at here, they say the woman from everybody is trying not to go because an immigrant of Palestinian descent cancel international travel and worry about. A Canadian artist who lives in Washington State shared her fear on social media about upcoming trip on the border. And then we have then we have the, you know, the highly publicized this guy, which they charge him on top of what they charge him activities because he was leading this how do you call it, the protest. Okay, they charge him for that activities, but on top of it they added one charge. They said that he felt to, because that one was not really like strong, they added one more saying that this person failed to disclose prior employment job, basically prior employment history on the green card application. Can you imagine failure to disclose prior employment history on your green card application? Is that really the reason they would charge you with deportable crime? Not really, but you know, that's what's going on. So what is the advice? The advice is to just wait for a lot of clarity prior to traveling if it's not urgent, or check the criminal record. And another advice will be to just refrain from political activities, especially when those political activities are contrary to the ideology of the United States, because you have to remember that freedom of speech is not does not really extend to green card holders. That's basically, that provision is very broadly defined. Anybody can interpret it differently. So you can claim freedom of speech, and then the government can say freedom of speech is not for non-citizens. So, and by the time you start defending yourself, you know, yeah, in my personal opinion, really, if it's not necessary for you to be involved in those type of political activities as a green card holder, just refrain from it for your own peace of mind. Because by the time you start defending yourself, you'll be in detention. This guy is still detained. You know, they're defending him, but he's still detained. Okay. Uh, and you're the one who people will be feeling sorry, but you're the one who's be there in detention. So some stuff you can avoid, just avoid. That's my personal opinion. Okay. What else? Let me stop here and see if we have questions. Question. How about filing adjustment of status spouse? Is it considered you have prior marriage adjustment denied? But you have to know why the first one was denied first, right? If the first one was denied for fraudulent marriage, just know the second one's going to be denied as well. But if it was denied for some other reason, or maybe just abandoned, because some people get denied because of maybe abandonment, in terms of the petitioner didn't show up to the interview, stuff like that, or maybe not enough evidence of good faith marriage, depending on the reason why the first one was denied. The only thing I know, if the first one was denied because the officer said that it was fraud, then just know the second one's going to be denied unless you overcome those allegations, right? So that's how we're going to answer the question. Most of the time, they will send a new one. They usually send a new one, even late. They're supposed to send a new one. Or you can reach out to them too to send you a new one. But they are supposed to send a new one. They're supposed to send a new one, okay? Okay. So government isn't out yet. It was all rumors. It's not rumor. It's gonna come. It's gonna come. Don't worry about it. It's coming. It's coming. This administration is determined. Okay. Yeah, it's coming. So it's just a matter of when. Okay. It's coming. They are so determined. Don't worry about it. It's coming. They're so determined. Yeah, so it's coming. Okay. What else? I guess this is it, right? 42 minutes. We already talked about everything. I wanted to really mention about green card holders because a lot is going on with green card holders. Just know that you have the right to come back, okay, if you travel, assuming that you did not abandon residency. But how do you know if you abandon residencies? If you stay there for longer, like 6 months or more without re-entry permit, that's how they're going to place you in removal so you can defend yourself on whether or not you abandon your residency. Some people are getting second questioning because of maybe something in the system shows that you know, something is not good and stuff like that. So they have to question them. You just have to remain calm. And then if you do, you have the right to a lawyer, of course. If you don't understand the thing they're saying, you have to ask for an attorney present so you can defend yourself. But if you try to fight with CBP, then it's gonna get escalate. The last thing you know, you find yourself in removal proceeding. It's like, yeah, by the time you start defending yourself, you're already on the losing end because money, time, emotional distress, even if you win later, right? So those are the things that I wanted to talk about, okay? And by the way, we got two approvals. I put it on my post. So hold on. You should go ahead and like. The more you like, the more they share the video to other people who can benefit for those type of videos. Okay. The more you like, the more you share. Some people too can benefit from it. That's how you spread the news. What else? I guess this is it, right? This is it. Thank you very much. Okay. Until next time. Bye-bye.